Can an AI write a better story than a human? If the second draft of my novel is anything to go by, probably, yeah. I think so. Welcome to AI Dungeon 2. This is a game that I had read an article about on The Verge a while back. And I had meant to play then, and it's just I had other games on my list I wanted to play first. But now we're finally playing it. The idea of it is that it is like those old text adventure games, kind of in the vein of Zork and those kind of games. And if you ever played a game like Zork, it tells a story and you have to input commands to advance the story. So it's kind of almost like a choose your own adventure, except you're just typing the commands into the computer instead of just going to the next page. And, there's all sorts of different routes that you can explore, different endings that you could look at. I usually got the ending where I would get eaten by a Gru. AI Dungeon 2 works the same way. We're going to see a screen with text. It's going to be telling me a story. I'm going to input commands and what I would like to do in the story. But unlike those older games, which had a specific set of commands and obviously pre-programmed paths that you could do, the computer is just going to make this up as we're going along. So I've seen a bunch of different versions of this, and sometimes it could be real boring, and sometimes it could get existential, sometimes it could just be hilarious. So I'm interested in seeing what kind of experience I end up getting. I'm excited. I'm going to go ahead and jump in and let's see what happens. Ooh, pick a setting. We have fantasy, apocalyptic, zombies, cyberpunk, custom. I don't know what custom is, but I guess I could make up something. Mystery, archives, and weekly. I'm going to go with a fantasy setting, because fantasy tends to be what I enjoy writing. Alright, select a character. Is this my character, or is this a character I'm going to meet? Noble, knight, squire, wizard, ranger, peasant, and rogue. I feel like this is fantasy and magic. Let's go with the wizard. You are a wizard living in the kingdom of Larian. You have a staff and a spellbook. You finish a long journey and finally arrive at the ruin you've been looking for. You look around and see that it's not much different than when you left it, but then nothing is. Wow. Wow, we're getting deep already. It looks like someone took a sledgehammer to this place and just left the pieces lying about. Okay, so we already have an inconsistency where they're saying it's not much different than when I left it, but it also looks like since the last time I was there, somebody took a sledgehammer and just destroyed it. So anyway, what am I going to do? You take out your spell book and begin to study the spells on it. I guess I'm going to try to use my spell book to fix the ruins. You fix the ruins. You can't afford to lose any more men, but you don't want to risk losing them in a trap. Oh, I wasn't planning to sacrifice people to fix these ruins. The next day, you send out scouts and tell them if they see anything suspicious, they should report it immediately. Check in with my scouts the next day. You check in with your scouts the next day. We got something! A group of 20 people heading towards that direction. They seem to be well armed, though. I think we need to split up and take them down one by one. Talk to the army. Let's talk to the army. See if we could resolve this with peace and love. You talk to the army. Alright, we're splitting up. The scouts will go ahead first, then the mages and the healers. We'll meet back here when we are all ready. You leave for the front lines while everyone else is on their way. Prepare my spell book for battle. As you get closer to the enemy, you notice that they aren't just normal soldiers either. There are some elves as well. Some of these guys look like they might have magic abilities too. Ask the army what they want. Actually, you know what? I'm a magic user. I'm going to actually ask the elves in the army what they want. We'll talk mano a mano, magic user to magic user. You ask the elves in the army what they want. They're trying to invade our land. Our king has been planning an attack against those barbarians for years now. You hear a few of the other soldiers say. I don't know if these are my soldiers or these are their soldiers. So are they invading our land or is somebody else invading their land? I'm going to assume, since I asked them and that's what they said, that they're coming to us for help to fight off the barbarians. Help the soldiers fight off the invading barbarians. So I am trying to repeat some of these keywords to hopefully get some sort of consistent plot line. While you are helping him, he tells you that the barbarian leader is a woman. I like that. We got some feminism up in here. She looks very powerful. Yes, you go, girl. He says she was once his lover before he left her behind when he went to war with another man. Apparently, she's not happy about this fact at all. All right, we got interesting things going on. I noticed that my ruins were being destroyed. Turns out that there was this army that had been progressively destroying them. We're going to have to ask them about that later. They have come to me for help with fighting off these barbarians, this group of barbarians who's led by a woman. This woman was jilted by this man when he went to war with another man. So he went to war with another man, I don't know if that meant he was fighting another man and she was upset that he chose to go do this, or if he went to war with another man who is his lover and they went to war together and left her behind. Either way, she's pissed. She's not happy about this fact at all. I'm going to talk to the barbarian woman and ask to be her friend, because maybe she just needs a friend right now. You know, it sounds like she's, whatever the scenario was, she's going through a hard time and she just needs somebody to be there for her. You talk to the barbarian woman and ask to be her friend. She says she doesn't really know how to respond since she didn't expect such a thing for you. However, she does offer to train you in the ways of combat so that you may defeat the invaders. Afterwards, you thank her and say goodbye. I'm going to return to the army and say that we won, because we did win. I won by going to the barbarian woman and becoming not her friend. She didn't seem to want to be friends really, but she did offer to train me in the ways of combat. So I feel like that was a bonding activity between the two of us, and there's no way that she would attack now. So I'm just going to say I returned to the army and say that we won. We won. Well done, well done, you hear several voices shout. It seems that you were successful in getting rid of the barbarians without much trouble. While you did win, it wasn't easy, and there were casualties along the way. What casualties? I don't think there were any casualties. I think I solved that very peacefully. Unless we don't really know what we were doing when we were training, though. I mean, maybe we were training on actual people. I don't know. Let's invite the army over for a victory party. You invite the army over for a victory party. When you arrive, you find that most of the soldiers are drunk or high. Oh my god. One of them sees you and starts screaming, "Help me, goddammit!" He runs away, hysterically crying. Another soldier approaches you and asks if everything is alright. Oh no! What is this man's problem? Well, I mean, he's both drunk and high. So I think he's got a lot of problems. I guess I'm going to have to go after him and check to make sure that he's okay. Yeah, he's fine. It's just a bad reaction to the alcohol, you reply. Another soldier comes up and thanks you for saving his life. He then goes on to apologize for causing the man so much grief earlier. So, all I could think of in this situation was this man is very drunk and maybe had some harsh words with this other man, and they're good now. I think I'm kind of done with these people. They came, they destroyed my ruins, they asked me for help, I helped them, and then we had a party, and now they're all drunk and high. So I think it's time for them to go home. You asked the army to go home. I'm sorry, sir, but we had to do what we had to do. If you'd like us to stay, that would be great. You tell the soldiers that they could stay if they wish, but you will pay for their room and board? I will pay for their room and board. So what? They're just staying here for free? No, 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 no. These people have to stay in my house? Alright, I guess they stay for the night. And in the morning, I make the army breakfast, like the good host that I am. And then I'll ask them to leave again after breakfast. Oh, later that night you wake up to a loud noise. You look outside and see a large boulder rolling across the ground. It looks like it hit someone. You run downstairs and see several people lying dead on the floor nearby. So I was waking up, I guess, later that night to start preparing breakfast because I have an army in my house and there's a lot of preparation that goes into that. And then I look outside and there's a large boulder rolling across the ground. I guess there's still people outside partying and it hit them and now they're dead. Call an ambulance? Oh, let's call a doctor because this is a fantasy world. What happened? A boulder rolled through the village and killed everyone. Everyone except me. You stand in shock for a moment. You feel sick to your stomach thinking what could have caused this. So apparently it killed not just someone, it killed everyone except for myself, which is unfortunate, but also I guess this army is out of my house now. But I should probably go find out what caused the boulder to fall in the first place. You climb the nearby mountain to find out who pushed the boulder. You climb the mountain and find that it's made entirely of stone. Well, I sure hope so. You wonder why anyone would want to push a boulder around in the first place. Yeah, I do wonder that. Eventually you reach a small cave entrance. Inside you see several skeletons lying on the ground. I'm going to explore the cave and try not to disturb the skeletons. They could attack me. This is a fantasy world we have here. You explore the cave and try not to disturb the skeletons. Finally, you come across a large chest. Inside is a bunch of gold coins. You grab the money and put it in your pocket. You walk back outside and see the rest of the villagers are still alive. Oh my god. So they're not dead? That's good. Okay. Well, I'm glad they're still alive. So apparently the doctor that I hired was a bad doctor, and he was like, oh god, everyone's dead. And I was like, oh boy, they sure do look dead. And then I climbed the mountain, and by the time I came back, they actually were not dead, and they're still alive, and they're fine. Now I have a bunch of gold coins. Cool. You take your money and go home. 2 days later, you wake up again. This time you see a giant skeleton standing over you. Oh gosh. I guess I angered the skeletons when I took their money. You scream and run away. I'm a brave person. You crawl under the bed where you hide until morning when the sun rises. I guess that's a lesson. That's the moral of the story, is if you see a bunch of money and there's a lot of skeletons laying around it, don't take that money. I'm going to look for the skeleton because I assume he must still be around. You look for the skeleton. Hello? Are you there, my child? What? The skeleton is my child? What a twist. You run out of the house and hide under a tree. You wait patiently for hours until it gets dark enough that you can no longer see him. Then you start running again. What is happening? Who is my child? The skeleton? You know what? Maybe I looked for the skeleton. The skeleton said to me, hello, are you there, my child? So this skeleton is related to me somehow. I'm going to run to the cave with the skeletons. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. So apparently, the skeletons are related to me. Perhaps they are my ancestors. Maybe this is like a Coco situation. You enter the cave and search for treasure. After searching a while, you find it. I found more! The skeleton sits on a pile of gold coins. He smiles at you as he takes the coin from your hand, holds it up to his face, and shows you its purity. Okay, so I searched for treasure in the cage. I found it. There's a skeleton who's sitting on top of a pile of gold coins, but I gave him money back. So I'm returning the money, hopefully to get rid of this weird skeleton situation. Oh, I could use quotes to speak. Okay, I'm gonna ask the skeleton, Skeleton, are you my parent? He smiles and nods. You say that I am yours too. He is my parent, and I am also his parent. You drop the coin onto the ground and smile. Then you turn around and run back inside of the cave. I feel like we gained a lot today. Apparently, the skeleton is my parent. I am also his parent. We are each other's parents. And life is like that sometimes. He takes care of me and I take care of him, and we're gonna be okay. But we live happily ever after. Yeah, that was an experience. I actually had a lot of fun with that. I think it was more consistent than I thought it would be, and I don't know if that was because I was constantly reminding the AI of these characters, like, oh yeah, there's barbarians, oh yeah, there's skeletons. I feel like if I put in commands that were completely disconnected from the narrative, then it would have just gone in a lot of weird directions. But it did tell a decently consistent story. I had a fun time with this. I would definitely play it again. If people liked the video, I will do another one of these. Maybe try a different genre or try some of the commands that I didn't use earlier. So I really just used the basic action commands, but I also could have utilized dialogue. I see that there's actually another command that was popping up in the tips down there where I could skip it having me do the command. I could have like another character do something so I can kind of control the other characters in the story as well. If you want a follow-up where I dig in and I really try to push this software to its max, let me know down in the comments below. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye!